Hello and welcome to another LEGO Train MOC Showcase video. We are back with another Thomas character model, and it is in fact Thomas himself. But this is the green version shown at the start of the 2015 movie, The Adventure Begins. So this is another character variant I've been very keen to make, and one that didn't quite go to plan either, but I shall mention that in a moment. So this is, of course, from the 2015 movie, as I mentioned a moment ago, and this was built like a day or two after I made the Busy Bee James. If you have not seen that episode, I strongly encourage you to do so because it was a very fun model. When it came to applying the lining tape on the model, it was very samey as to how it was done on the blue model. The only major difference was the fact that LBSC is on the side of the tank instead of the number 1. Thankfully, I got quite lucky here because LBSC and 70 is actually in yellow, so that saved me having to buy another color letter or number sheet. Speaking of letter sheets, the front window details are done with the two letter sheets that I have with yellow and silver. And this is done by using the capital letter O, both the main letter itself and the inside piece to represent the window. It's something I've used for a couple of other models in the past. It's quite clever in its own way too, because you have a perfect design for how you're going to make that window. However, I do have to admit to one inaccuracy, and that is the wheels. In the movie, the wheels are green, and the model I am using has black wheels. Now, this is because I don't really have that many medium-sized drive wheels left, and this time round, I'm not too keen on spray painting them green. I've done that so many times with other wheels in the past, but this time I couldn't really be bothered to, and if for whatever reason I wanted these wheels for something in the future, I'd rather they were black. The wheels for this model in particular are from Breckland Bricks here in the UK, so if you are a British LEGO train builder and you need some LEGO train wheels, I strongly recommend you go to Breckland Bricks. I shall leave a link to them in the description. And now we get to see the two models side by side. When it comes to LEGO trains and you build a particular locomotive, you tend to normally see people build one variant and kind of just stick to that. It's not really that common to see people build more than one variant of what is basically the same locomotive. Especially when it comes to Thomas characters, they have their build style and that's one thing, but to build another character in a different livery is actually, a bit rare, not that I've seen that many of, to be honest. And now we get to see both of these models side by side. Once again, it is so lovely to see two different versions of the same model next to each other. But which one is your favourite? Let me know in the comment section down below. So this episode is coming out after the Busy Bee James model episode, so once again I strongly encourage you to go watch that video. And this model was made soon after that model was done. And just like that previous model, this was made where I didn't make any bricklink orders. And because of how I built this, I had to come up with a couple of compromises. So you can see with the original Thomas model, it uses the traditional 45-degree slope pieces for the boiler. A bit chunky and of its time, a bit out of date in terms of build methods, but nothing unrealistic or unsatisfactory. My model of green Thomas uses the normal green that LEGO make. I was originally going to go for something like sand green, just something that looks a bit more accurate to what you see in the film, but because of the part availability, I had no choice but to go for regular green. I'm not too keen with how I did the boiler too, because on top it uses a bunch of green cheese slopes, and it looks a bit simple in some ways. It looks a bit chunky, it doesn't look that detailed. Now again, I didn't make any bricklink orders because I have a budget too, but at the same time this was satisfactory, but I kind of knew it wasn't enough when I was building this. Chances are I will come back to this in the future and give it a rebuild, but at the same time it looks closer to the original model, and I think that's what I would prefer. If I was going to update this model, I would update the blue tank engine model too. And that is it for this MOC Showcase video. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Having green Thomas in my collection is quite cool because it's a very unique variant. And this is also my third Thomas character that I technically have. I have this one, the blue one you saw earlier, and the Block Junction E2 version, which is just wonderful. So thanks again for watching. In the description you can find a link to my Discord server where you can chat with like-minded fans of LEGO trains and Nerf blasters. Also links below you can find links to my Flickr and Instagram pages if you want some sneak peeks and behind the scenes action. Keep an eye out on my community tab for polls and updates. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.